For online or electronic mind maps, there are probably loads of options that I'm not even going to go into, but there's three I'll quickly kind of run through. If you wanted one which creates the mind map kind of semi-automatically in terms of creating the little bubbles and all the rest of it and connections, there's a service called Bubbleless that I've used with classes before that's quite good. It works basically online and saves your work online. You'll see that you can sign in with a Google account, so pupils or yourself can sign in using your school Google account. So just take a wee second until it opens up. Now, there is a paid version of this, but the free version will let you create a couple of mind maps here. I think it's 3 that you get to do for nothing. So unless you're making lots and lots of mind maps, it's a perfectly good solution. So you can just click new mind map. You get a starting point. You can type in whatever your first, item that you want to talk about is, and then you'll see that you've got options to add different things there. So you can add bubbles or childs. So there's some icons. Sorry, there's some shortkeys that you can use there. So that would add in another bubble, or if you hit Control and Enter, I'll create a child off it, so you can create more children off them. You get the idea. It's pretty straightforward. So you can use that, and the handy thing is it'll basically automatically space everything out for you. So as your bubbles fill up, the whole thing kind of moves around and allows you more space as you need it. You've got some pretty kind of standard formatting tools in there that you kind of think about how to use. You can create connecting lines as well. For example, if you wanted to connect something to another point there, you'll see you can use a wee connector to do so. So having completed your mind map, a couple of ways that our people could turn that into you. One way would be if they just click share, and then they can choose a link, and that would allow them to just copy the link. They can use an edit link if it's something they would want you or another student to collaborate with them on. Or alternatively, they can save it as an image, so they could just save it as a JPEG or a PNG image, and that would be something they could then upload to Classroom. So, as I say, if you don't need to make too many mind maps, I found Bubbleless to be a really good service to use. As an alternative, if you wanted something a wee bit more manual, a really basic option is a Google Drawing. So you can either create them in your Google Drive by just going to File, New, and then More at the bottom. Or alternatively, you should, we'll see if it works, should be able to type drawing.new. It's not working at the moment. I'm not sure if that works, so we'll just go to Drive and go to New, Drive, sorry. Go to New, More, and Google Drawings. Try again. More Google Drawings. And it's really just a blank space, so pupils can create text boxes. And what I would say is kind of a sensible way to kind of save yourself some time. Say you've formatted your first text box however you want it to be. You can just copy and paste. So right click, copy and paste, or you can use Control C, Control V. So we could do paste the box. So if we've got a border or a font or whatever that we want to keep, we can just paste it, and then we can go back in and we can edit the text in these. So it's not as kind of automated a way of doing your mind map, but it still works. And then you can obviously use lines or arrows for connectors. So you can use these little connector points between the different boxes to build your mind map. So as I say, it's not quite as automated a way of doing a mind map, but it's going to allow you to make as many as you want without any issues. And again, in terms of turning that in, that will be a file that's actually stored in the pupil's drive. so they could just attach it directly to an assignment in Classroom from their drive. Or alternatively, they could share it with a link. If they had to share it with somebody else, they can add collaborators. So they could add other pupils if they wanted to have someone else able to, come in and edit with them. So if they were doing it as a kind of a group task, and likewise they can also download it. I think it's in here somewhere. Yeah, download as a JPEG or a PDF. So if they wanted to, they could download it as a PDF or whatever and turn it in that way. So that's your second option. And now for one more that's maybe worth considering if you wanted to do something a bit more collaborative. There's a site called Jamboard, which is a Google service. If you sign into Google Jam with your username, there's a little plus icon down at the bottom right you can use to create a new jam. And it's basically just like a digital whiteboard. In terms of text boxes, it allows you to create sticky notes. So you can just add a bunch of sticky notes. I'm just using the tab key to get down to the save button really quickly. The whole idea of a mind map really is that you want to be able to make the points quickly. You can also make them different colors. You'll see along the top there. So if you had maybe different students who were all adding maybe 4 different students and they wanted to keep their own contribution separate, or there was different aspects of the topic that they were going to color code. And then pupils can then just grab these, can resize them, move them about. And they can also use the pen tool, or there's markers or whatever. So say this was their bit in the middle. They could use the pen tool just to draw their connectors. And also, if they're using a tablet or something that they can write on, they could annotate. You could even add an image. So say it was something that you were going to mind map from a picture. You'll see you can just pop a picture into there, and that would allow you to add annotations around certain parts of the image, connecting it back to different points that had been added. It could be that you were wanting to find a PDF or make a PDF, sorry, not a PDF, an image like a JPEG of a poem. So say you wanted to analyze a poem as a class, you could put a picture of the poem up on the board here, and then it could be highlighted. And the point I would get back to, the reason I think that a Jamboard's a really kind of handy thing to use is if you're wanting to do something as a whole class task, and you wanted to do it all at the same time, what you can do is share your Jamboard with your class on Classroom and change the settings so that pupils can all edit it. And that would allow every pupil to come into the Jamboard and leave some comments on your mind map or whatever you want to be doing with it. The other option would be to make a template of your Jamboard. So you could make a template of your mind map or place your picture in the center or whatever it was you wanted to mind map for them. And then you could go when you're creating the assignment in Classroom and use the make copy for all students. And that will create a copy of that jam for every single pupil, allowing them all their own copy of the blank jam that they can add to. You'll see up at the top here, you can add extra pages. So you can pretty much make it as extensive as you want to. And if you've got mistakes, there's an eraser tool that you can use to kind of rub stuff out too. So as I said, I'm sure there's probably hundreds of different mind mapping services online that you can use. But those are a couple of options that you could use if you wanted to create mind maps.